Now I've got Robert Olimene joining us right now to talk more about the Super Eagles of Nigeria taking on Benin Republic, the Cheetahs of Benin Republic. And of course, great to have you with us, Robert. How many cheetahs have you met in a couple of days now?
Good afternoon to you. It's good to be on the program. Well, last I checked, I've seen any cheetahs yet, but I think I've seen a whole lot of eagles. So we're rooting for the Super Eagles of Nigeria.
Right. I mean, I had to be sarcastic right there. But of course, I will look forward to that interesting game, the matchup between Super Eagles and Benin Republic. It feels like Nigeria is playing against a brother in football, but because we know a lot of Nigerians are playing right there in Benin, most especially Remo Stars goalkeeper, and he's also waiting to play against Nigeria and also prove his quality. But what are you expecting ahead of tomorrow's game?
I think the game is going to be a very interesting one. Looking at the last two meetings between both nations. For the African Cup of Nations qualifier, yes, Nigeria was more or less able to get that win against the Benin Republic. And of course, for the FIFA World Cup qualifier that was played earlier on this year, it was Benin Republic who got that win, that much needed win, and of course a morale boosting one for that matter against Nigeria. It ended 2-1, despite the fact that Nigeria scored first. I think tomorrow is going to be another showpiece between both nations. Like you said, they are our next door neighbors, they are our brothers, and of course, I believe that there is a whole lot of similarities between both countries. And of course, I'm looking at the fact that you have a couple of Nigerians or Nigerian-born players who currently play for Benin Republic. But looking at what is at stake, I believe that the boys in camp, the Super Eagles, are looking to more or less seal qualification as early as possible. And of course, make the last game, which is set to be played in Rio on Monday, more or less like a mere formality. So tomorrow, yes, it is all to play for because of Benin Republic. A win against Nigeria will also strengthen their case for second spot or the second place finish. But I believe that Super Eagles has more than what it takes to get that victory tomorrow.
More than what it takes to get that victory tomorrow. Yes, we know on paper Nigeria possessed one of the best squads in African football, but they've not really been able to show that quality on the football. Just a couple of players who we've seen flashes of experience right there, most especially Ademola Lookman, and Boniface has struggled to score goals for Nigeria, especially when Victor Osimhen was out injured. He couldn't get to play for the Super Eagles of Nigeria. Now he's back, and yes, on paper, we'll keep talking about this quality that we have in the Super Eagles of Nigeria, but what must change for us to see these talents really showcase themselves on the pitch?
I think the transition in which the Nigerian Super Eagles play has to change. For the past couple of games that we've played so far, our transition has been very slow. The urgency to get the ball forward as fast as possible is not there. And I believe that this is one case in point that if it changes, I believe that it will more or less not just yield goals for us, but it will always put us in very commanding position to dominate games and of course get the opponent that is on the back foot. Also, for the case of Victor Boniface, I believe that the goals will come for him. For Austin Ekwafon, that is the interim coach at the moment, he believes so much in him, and he said in his last interview that the goals will come for the Bayer Leverkusen forward. I think that once he gets that goal, that first goal, I believe that it's going to be more or less very easy for him to be able to find the back of the net going forward. So there's no rush. Also, we have the World Cup qualifiers coming up next year. So there's much more than enough time for him to get the goals for the Super Eagles. So I really don't think that he should put that much pressure on himself. If the goal doesn't come for him, there are more than enough players in the squad who will come up with the goods for Nigeria. And I believe that that is ultimately the most important thing.
All right, the most important one for the Super Eagles of Nigeria against Benin Republic, playing against a man who once coached Nigeria, talking about, again, Raw, and of course, he's facing a lot of injury problems right there. So he knows the Super Eagles in and out, and we just hope that, because I know he knows how to play against the Super Eagles. We've seen him defeat the Eagles, and of course, we've given them a pound of their flesh as well. But looking ahead of that game tomorrow, of course, new, interesting inclusions to the national team, most especially Sadiq Umar. Were you surprised when you saw him being selected?
I was surprised. That is just me being as sincere and as blunt as possible. I was surprised. But again, you have to, or we all have to trust those who are more or less in charge of calling up players for the national team. And of course, I believe that they know what they are doing, and of course, they have the best interest of not just the national team at heart, but also over 200 million Nigerians who would more or less be paying very, very close attention on the national team, as well as all the games we're set to play going forward. For Sadiq Umar, yes, not the best in terms of what is going on with him at his club side, but I believe that he just needs to turn a corner. Once he can do that, all things will go on very well for him, not just at the national team, but also with his club side.
All right, before I let you go, do you want to make quick predictions ahead of that game?
Prediction, I think Nigeria will win. Nigeria should win by 2 or 3 goals to 0.
Wow, 2 or 3 goals to 0. We'll see how that turns out. And obviously, Victor Osimhen is one of your goal scorers. Ademola Lookman also the second goal scorer. Who will be the third one? Or will it be a hat-trick for either of them?
Well, I think maybe tomorrow might just be Victor Osimhen's day. Who knows? He might get on the score sheet as well.
All right, we look forward to that game, Nigeria versus Benin Republic, and hopefully your prediction will come through, 2 goals to 0 or 3 goals to 0. But thank you very much, Robert Olimene, for joining us all the way from Ibadan, Nigeria.
Thank you very much for having me.